Today's 13th Floor Music Talk interview is with Lisa Crawley. Lisa relocated from Auckland to LA last year, and now she's about to release her new EP, Looking for Love in A Major. So, how are things in LA?
What does it take to get your attention? Too much to say, too much to mention.
So, how you been?
Oh, yeah, I've been pretty good, thank you. It's been quite the year and a half, but yeah, I'm currently in Los Angeles, where I moved in January last year. So
Right.
that's where I've stayed throughout for better or worse. No, I've stuck
Well,
it out throughout.
it's
the
been tough
pandemic
over there, hasn't it? I mean, we had it here, but it's nothing like it was over there. So
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, who would have thought? I think I've always been better at melody than timing. Maybe I don't know. So yeah, I got here in January last year and started doing some songwriting work with other artists and for myself, and playing a few piano gigs. And I had to find that work though. So by the time I found it, it was pretty much, or early March. So
and everything came to a screeching
yeah,
halt.
and they're like, yeah, actually, no, you can't do any of that stuff. So I did what everyone else did, and I fostered an animal. And
I've seen so many pets on Zoom in the last year. It's amazing.
I know. Lots of animals have found homes, and that's a good thing. I suppose. Of course. Yeah, and I went to adopt my cat. I'm a terrible foster. I'm a fostered once and failed. So
Oh no.
yeah, so I've been just living in a studio in a place called Franklin Village,
Right.
which is kind of Hollywood, Los Feliz area, quite close to the Griffith Observatory. And yeah, just did what I could throughout the last while to keep going, like teaching piano online and
Right.
doing live streams and hosting piano karaoke to strangers on Instagram and all sorts of things, and writing music online with people as well, which has been
That's cool.
That was a fun thing to do. But yeah.
So does it feel like it's come out? You've come out the other side now. Things are kind of looking up.
Almost.
Almost.
Yeah, that's definitely still this kind of slight weirdness here still, but also people are starting to gig again, and you can just, there's so much appreciation for live music. I did my first sort of original show a couple of weeks ago at a Songwriters in the Round gig in Hollywood, and it was it was very strange. It was very strange indeed, but a lot of fun. And yeah, just to have that moment again. And I have a weekly piano gig at a place in West Hollywood where you have to put stickers over your cameras on the phone so you don't take pictures of the celebrities there. So it's
really,
yeah.
That's pretty wild.
It's called the San Vicente Bungalows, and it's sort of like a very exclusive West Hollywood place where people can go and not be bothered. It reminds me of the scene in one of my favorite shows, Extras, where the main character is trying to go to a civilized place, and David Bowie is there and makes fun of him. Anyway, it's that's me. I'm David.
The classic.
I'm kind of
episode.
a combination of the two. I'm a combination of the two there, I suppose. But anyway, that's just started. So that's a weekly gig for me, and a really interesting one. And I kind of, for the last little while, I thought, I could really be anywhere. I don't really feel like I'm in LA, apart from the hikes and things that I got to know. But then started working that gig, and there's been other moments, and now getting out a bit more. I'm like, oh, that's right. This is a different spot to where I have been living before. Yeah. So
cool. Well, I'm glad you've survived.
Survived. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to know the hiking, and didn't have a car for a long time, so I walked everywhere. And
no car in LA. That's tough.
I know. And then my lovely friend gave me one when he went back to New Zealand, so I was trying to learn how to drive on the other side of the road in this manual stick shift Volkswagen Passat. So I thought, if I can drive better on here, then I'll be okay with anything. So
yeah, you get the hang of it after a while. Although I've been in New Zealand for 27 years. Yesterday, I attempted to get in on the wrong side of my car.
You did?
Yeah.
I do that all the time.
It's just like you're on autopilot and you're not thinking. So it's just ingrained.
Yeah, or also someone else is driving and I just go to the other side and they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, that's right. Yeah. But it's definitely been kind of scary driving here, but I'm getting the hang of it. it's just like
Concentrate.
everywhere is new. So
Careful.
yeah, having to concentrate, and often it's stressful when it's busy, but when it's not busy, that's when you really have to think like, oh, which side of the road am I
The
turning
worst
into?
thing is like coming to an empty intersection. You're going, all right.
And you can turn right in the red light. So it's like, that's right. I'm gonna do that as well. So.
But you do have a new EP coming out, so that's exciting.
do.
And as a matter of fact, I believe tomorrow you're releasing, or at least tomorrow here, you're releasing a new song and a new video.
Deja vu, you know where this is going. You're looking for love. Where do you find it? You keep looking for love. Looking for love. One of a kind of looking for love.
Yes, that's another DIY video that I made.
I was wondering about that because you got some pretty cool vintage footage in it.
Yeah, I inquired with some graphic designers, but just the cost of animators. But I ended up just doing it myself, just because I kind of had an idea of what I wanted, and also, to one animated little dancing sausage was going to be about $1,000. So I was like, I'll think outside the box.
I do like the one bit that you found where the sausage jumps into the bun.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking, the dating culture here is, well, in a lot of places, but it's I kind of felt like it was a bit like fast food in a way. And I'm helping with some music stuff at a drive-in cinema as well.
Oh,
so
great.
A combination of those two influenced the video for me. I'd always wanted to go to a drive-in. I've still never been to the movies in America apart from the one that I'm sort of working at. So going to be performing at their film festival and things. That should be fun.
Cool. So the song that we were talking about is Looking
Yes.
for Love, which is also the title track on the EP. So
Looking for love.
So what can you tell me about the song as opposed to the video?
Sure, of course. So I wrote this song with my friend Rob Kleiner and Kevin Gibson. We were just sort of hanging out and decided to write something in Rob's studio. And we're kind of messing around with concepts for songs. And like I was mentioning before, the subject of love sort of being like fast food, or thinking you know what you want.
Right.
And then you might get it, and then you're like, oh, actually, it's not what I want, or oh, but there's something wrong, and there's always about a character where there's always something's not quite right, never quite happy, no matter what. So even if you get what you want, you're sort of like, oh, I'm just going to work on myself, or something, like that.
Yep.
Sort of ever so. I mean, there's so many people here. Some people might just, if they're swiping on the apps, be like, oh, I don't really like that freckle on that person. It's just so easy to just be.
Right.
It's like fast food. So that's
gotcha.
Yeah. And so I was writing with Rob and Kevin, and we just came up with that concept. And Rob played a bass line, and we were listening to different songs, including like some of the Vampire Weekend stuff, and Rob said, I like how they just sometimes have sort of made up words here. And that's not something I've really done a lot, just had little oohs and ahs and funny little sections. So
right.
that was fun. And Kevin and Rob were both in a band called Tub Ring, which quite successful. Yeah, they're from Chicago and quite a punk band, but Rob's experience in all sorts of styles. But it was really fun having Kevin on board he's quite cheeky and fun. And it was fun. He jumped in on the vocals as well. And
cool.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun to make, kind of like a mix inspired by bands like The Weeknd, but also like old jazz stuff. And I was listening to some Camera Obscura around that time as well, and just like some of the changes and the chords and things were just like inspired me for that one. It's like a lot of fun. I haven't had the chance to actually perform it yet.
That's got to be frustrating.
So looking forward to, it's been part of the thing about being here is often, especially throughout the pandemic, is writing these songs without having performed in. But when I was in Melbourne or Auckland, like just always playing the songs, you're playing them and then you record them,
right?
Or have this process where you have a lot of time to write them. But some of these songs I've been doing recently have been written in a much faster period of time and recorded maybe on the same day and finished on the same day. So it's quite a different process to what I'm used to.
So are you getting to know about the songs as you're going to perform them? Yeah.
Having I've still got this, that I still love writing songs that are very, just on my own, and that are ones that I've been working on and are very close to and take months to finish. It's still those ones, but it has been a fun way of getting things done throughout the last year and a half, especially.
Yeah. So the EP is being released on the 23rd. Is that correct?
23rd, yes.
Oh.
And you guys get it before me. It's not fair.
Yes.
I try to share links and everything, and it's very frustrating. I'm like, oh.
I have this conversation with people all the time because a lot of people can't get their heads around the fact that we're like a day ahead. And it's like, yeah, it's already out here. Sorry.
Very forward thinking and ahead in a lot of ways.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do on the day? Have you got plans?
I'm actually going to be playing at a venue with a piano trio. I'm going to do, and then the next day I'm playing a show called Top Tune, which is a fun songwriting game show where you have 17 minutes to write a song and you get paired up with someone else and they give you the song title and there's a house band and they learn one of your original songs and you perform that and then you get partnered up with someone and then you sent out to another room and then you have 17 minutes to go and write this song and then they have guest comedians and things and then there's three groups of two that have their song and the audience vote on their favorite. So I first did that gig when I visited LA 5 or 6 years ago, and Fred Willard was the guest comedian, and I was so excited. It was so fun, and just very like the songs can be funny or sad or whatever you like. But I've done that twice now, and it's always a really fun night, and meet wonderful songwriters and comedians and musicians.
Cool.
And it's fun having a house band. Just like learn your song. You're like, great, that's great.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm also going to be I'll be out in the desert this weekend as well, playing some gigs. I was there last weekend. There's a venue I've just started playing at out there in Palm Desert, and it was 43 degrees. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, well, I was listening to the news this morning, and apparently the hottest place is like Portland, Oregon.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
It went up to like 120 degrees up there or something, in Fahrenheit. And I was like, that's just not
do you
right.
think do you still say Fahrenheit? Are you Fahrenheit still?
I think in Fahrenheit. Here I have to use centigrade, but I figured since you're there and I heard it in Fahrenheit, I would
I still can't do I'm still Celsius, kilometers. I'm kind of stubborn about that.
Yeah, well, once you learn something, it's hard to unlearn it.
I know, and I keep saying I'll see you in a fortnight, and people go, "What? What's foot? Is that game?" Yeah, so it's been interesting, these little different things, and a big one where I'm doing co-writing sessions about like at least half the time someone's like, I'm not mad at that, and you're like, what do you mean? Sorry, like you suggested a line in the song, like, I'm not mad at that. It's like, do you like it or do you?
I don't even know what that means.
I think that memes like, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Oh, good. All right.
It's funny, these little sayings and anyway, I'm enjoying that. Yeah.
So having, since you are obviously from New Zealand and people have a different, I think people's opinion of New Zealand has changed because of COVID and the way they perceive how we reacted to it. Do you get a lot of that?
Oh yeah. They're like, why are you still here?
Do you ask yourself that?
It's not like I haven't, exactly. It's not like I haven't asked myself that, but then there are reasons as well. I tell myself the visa process was very long to get the artist visa and very expensive. And and there's been opportunities that have come out from sticking it out, despite feeling absolutely crazy and watching how amazing Jacinda has handled a lot of things over there. And I've been very close to like a lot of the, like geographically close to a lot of the protests and everything. So it's been really, really interesting.
And have you had a vaccination?
Yes, I was vaccinated in March. So.
Oh man, see, I'm just about to get mine in a couple of weeks because it's all very slow here. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I did. And very, very grateful for that. I mean, there's still people here getting COVID, and it's just, I don't know, still wearing a mask whenever I can to, keep safe.
Now back to the EP. Let's talk about another song. How about Clear History? Seems interesting to me. Kind of a guitar-based thing.
I saw a shape that looked like you. Oh no, but I need something brand new. I'll leave the past where it should be. Clear history.
Clear history, and you're kind of clearing your memory. Is that what it's all about?
That's right. Yeah. So as a kid, I was really I remember when my dad we got our first PC computer. It must be about 95 to coincide with Windows 95, I think. And I was so obsessed with all the games, and
Right.
I would spend hours on my GeoCities website with all my little acting Shortland Street stints, and I'd post about that and post little games. And
Were you on Shortland Street back then?
I wanted to be on it as a kid, so I signed up to an agency, and then I started doing little.
Because I was editing it back then.
You were? What, when
Yeah.
in Browns Bay era?
Well, I did the post-production, so
Oh, that's funny.
assembling the footage at a place called VTR.
Okay, yeah, I had about 10, about 20 little extra things for a day, and then I had about 5 like 3-day rolls over the last couple of decades, where you have a character and you
Yeah.
get through, but nothing for too long on it. But anyway, I
You digress.
loved that sort of, I would spend ages like downloading tiled backgrounds and all sorts of computer nerdy things, and so I guess musically, I feel like that song is the closest to like a 90s song. I listen to a lot of music in the 90s, Alanis Morissette, and the Cardigans and everything. And I just the idea of the metaphor of clearing your history, making room for things that you need more in your life, and moving forward.
Yep.
Moving on song. And I wrote that with Rob actually before I moved here. So I was visiting here. I met Rob Kleiner at a songwriting festival in Hawaii in 2018. And then whenever time I'd come over, I came over like maybe once or twice before I moved here. We would write some songs. And that was one of them that I'd had for a long time, and I didn't know how to release it. I released it as a single throughout the pandemic last year, but then thought it was fitting on this EP because I collected the songs as a group of 5 songs that were all in the same key. I had similar themes, so hence the A major.
Yes.
Looking for love, an A major thing. But yeah, it's a lot of fun to sing that one. And I had never played it before, and I was doing the songwriters gig on the piano, and I had to quickly think of how it would go on the piano live. So it's quite guitar driven, but a lot of fun with little synths, and a lot of fun to sing. And one of my most favorite releases.
So all 5 songs in A major? I'm not a musician, so I don't know.
Yeah. So I had enough songs, more than enough songs for a full length record, but I just due to the restrictions of last year have really been not me out of work very much, and it just putting out a whole record, it takes a lot of work. And when I put the songs all together that I did one on the album, I go, I don't know if they kind of work sonically as a unit as well as I would like them to. I was trying to ignore the voice in my head that goes, but you're not a real artist if you don't do a full length record, But,
well, I don't think all those rules are out the window these days. It feels like. I think
so. Yeah. And getting more into writing music for film and TV as well. Like I released a song because it was on a show. I liked it, but I wasn't necessarily going to put it out. But then it was on a show, and I go, oh, okay, yeah, cool. Let's release that. And a great way to get included in a playlist as well. I'm thinking all that sort of thing.
Yep.
So the EP just seemed to make sense because there are 5 songs in the same key, weren't too similar. Hopefully that people didn't think it was just one big song. And so that's how I decided to put it out as Looking for Love. So it's a little bit of a journey if you listen to it in the order that it's listed in. And someone didn't relate that in a major to be about a key. They're just like, in a major what? Like what? Or you forget something? And I'm like, no, an A major. But I grew up playing lots of classical music and clarinet and orchestras and things. So it often songs would be titled with the key in there.
Sure.
And for me, literally day to day, I hear pitch and frequent like notes all the time, whether it's cars or people talking. And so for me, it's like the whole mood of a song changes depending on the key. So that's kind of how that came about.
And I think I read somewhere where you had some needed surgery on your ear. Is that right? Yes.
Yeah. So I have, as if we didn't have to listen to our own voice, enough in the last year. I had a condition with called patulous eustachian tube, where you something happens in between your nose and your ears, and I had to have an operation because I get a lot of distortion. So when I'm singing, it's going. Not only that, but I hear my own voice louder than usual, and sounds like breathing and eating. And I have been a complete if anyone's eating at the movies popcorn, I'm so mad. It makes my blood boil. So to have that myself has been a real struggle, because music is such a huge part of my life, and to
Right.
kind of have to sacrifice the quality of sound, and to it did knock my confidence a little bit. I don't think the surgery has really helped too much, unfortunately, but
Oh dear. So it's still a problem.
it's still a problem, but I'm, manage it and can still really default to the muscle memory of what a note sounds like. But it does kind of knock your confidence a bit because it can't quite hear in the same way. But
That's weird.
yeah, still able to make music and still enjoy
that's
it.
good.
But it's just,
And you got to deal with the American health system.
oh my goodness, that's been like a full-time job in itself to try and get health insurance, I tell you. And now I have some health insurance. I'm going to everything. Give me that. Give me that. Give me that.
Yeah. There you go. Good on you.
So yeah, yes, really, really makes you appreciate what you have in New Zealand and Australia, and in that regard.
Are you going to come visit us and play some
I want to
tunes
so badly.
sometime?
I'm so pumped. Yeah, I miss my family and friends very, very much. So when I can make it work with quarantining and
it's tough because I was supposed to go back and do some family stuff, but then I realized, well, I don't think I'm going to be able to get back into New Zealand anytime easily, because you have to reserve 2 weeks quarantine thing, and so
maybe that will be the next time. Next time I'm going to write a full-length album, I'll do that 2-week period. I've done artist residencies in Canada where you go and lock yourself in a cabin for 5 weeks, so maybe that's the way of doing it, to combine it in order to get back and see people and have my burger fuel fix.
There you go.
All the hamburgers here, still miss burger fuel. They're still my top.
All right, good on you.
Top one.
Excellent.
Great to see you.
You too. It's fantastic. I'm glad you're doing well, and it'd be great if you can come around here. But hopefully things go well for you on the 23rd. Looking for love.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Marty.
Bye-bye.
Bye.